What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck centered around Silvally-GX in a metal toolbox. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, helps us out a ton, and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, now, when I first built this deck, I built it before Crimson Invasion had even come out, and so I was trying to think of a good way to use Silvally, and I was like, okay, well, Silvally covers Fighting and Psychic, so what can I pair it with that would be a different type and also be something that can actually work, because Silvally has the ability, or the attack Turbo Drive, 120 and attach an energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and then Gyro Unit your basic Pokemon in play, have no retreat cost. I was thinking of how can I properly get Silvally to work? So what other Pokemon can I throw in a type of toolbox deck that cover a different type than Silvally and also are mainly basic Pokemon? And I was like, you know what? Metal type has a lot of those. I mean, obviously I threw in Drampa because, I mean, Drampa just kind of fits in any deck style. And also it's completely colorless along with Silvally. So I was like, you know what? Metal can work very well in this as well because, I mean, you have like Cobalion, Magearna, Kartana from Crimson Invasion as well. I mean, you have stuff that you can definitely work with. And so I was so excited to do that, and I was like, oh, this is such an original idea. Like, I haven't seen or talked to anybody else that has had this idea. And then I made it, and then unfortunately with med school I've had to wait a little while in order to be able to get the decks out and have the time to do the deck videos and play good games for it. And then by the time I'm getting this video out, I am realizing that everybody thought of Silvally and Metal Toolbox, so I am looking just incredibly unoriginal right now. And my question of the day is centered around that. Basically it's centered around that with you guys. What deck have you guys built that was completely your idea on your own, that like you came up with a completely original idea, but then suddenly it turns out that everybody also had that idea and you all of a sudden felt super unoriginal and you just feel like a copycat? Now, admittedly, I'm going to exclude things like Decidueye, Vileplume, and stuff like that, because, I mean, everybody thought of that deck. Everybody thought of combinations of, like, Decidueye, Vileplume, Trevenant, Vileplume. I mean, just grass decks are the only ones that come to mind off the top of my head. But there are certain decks that, like, you look at it and everybody's like, oh, these two make such a perfect pair, that it's kind of, if you play the TCG, it's kind of inherent to put those two things together. This one was kind of I don't know if anybody else is going to come up with this, and then all of a sudden when I was looking around on YouTube, everybody had come up with this idea. So I feel very unoriginal, but this is still my take on it. Let me know in the comment section down below. What decks have you guys built completely original that you thought was kind of a unique idea, but it turns out that everybody had that idea as well, and you turn out just to be super unoriginal? Yeah, let me know in the comments section down below so that I don't feel alone in this. But anyway, onto the deck. Like I said, it is centered around Silvally-GX, 210 HP, and really this is like I'd say a decent card at best. Like, it's not going to be meta at all. I mean, unless we get more memory cards, which we should, because that would actually make Silvally be able to be a cool, like, tech in certain different decks. It's like just in a Metagross deck, you automatically lose to things like Volcanion. But if you play a copy of Type Null and Silvally in a Water Memory, yes, okay, like, inherently, this makes it kind of clunky just because you have to dedicate so many cards to it, but just on the surface, it seems like a card that you can throw into certain decks to deal with a type weakness in a matchup. Like, a Metagross deck automatically loses to, like, Volcanion. Well, Silvally with a Water Memory can be a way to just splash that card in the deck and be able to one-shot things like Volcanion, and maybe with a Lightning Memory in order to take out Ho-Oh, just different types of things. It seems like Silvally, if it had access to all of its memory drives, can be really cool, but right now we just have Fighting and Psychic, which really aren't that great in the current meta. I mean, they're solid in their own right, but like, they're nothing incredible that can just like change the game or take out top tier decks, that type of thing. So I think Silvally has a future, maybe a little bit of a future as a just tech in certain decks to take care of different matchups if you feel the need to do that. But otherwise, it's just kind of meh right now. However, I am going to try to make it work, and this is the deck we are going to try to make it work in. So first of all, 4-3 of Type Null and Silvally. First of all, these Type Null were an absolute pain to get. Opened 100 packs, did not pull a single one, and so I just had to trade for all of those because it's a basic stage 1 that evolves into something, and it's a rare, so that's a little bit annoying in itself. 3 of the Silvally-GX because that is what the deck is centered around. Turbo Drive, 3 energy, 120, and Accelerate energy. Not bad, but a little bit annoying to try to get to. And then Rebel GX, 50 damage times the number of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's good for taking a big knockout if you need it. 2 Drampa, because, I mean, Drampa is just a great basic attacker. You can accelerate energy onto it with Silvally and be able to Berserk, just a basic Pokemon that can hit for big damage. Righteous Edge also is able to get rid of special energy. And this deck actually has like an undertone of special energy hate. It's kind of cool, because I'm also running a single copy of Kartana-GX with its Slice Off ability. When you play this from your hand onto your bench, during your turn you may discard a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. So between Drampa and Kartana, we actually have a little bit of special energy hate, which is kind of cool. But the main reason Kartana, that's not Kartana, that's Cobalion. The main reason Kartana is in this deck is for Blade GX, just to take a prize card. If you're up against an opponent who's playing the odd prize game, Kartana is an easy way to play it down and just take a prize and be like, okay, now we're playing the even prize game and you can't try to make me play that anymore. It's just a very cool card. Like, I really like its GX attack because you don't have to use it in matchups where like you're already playing the even prize game, but against something like Metagross where they let you knock out the Vulpix and then you have to try to take out 3 Metagross or 2 Metagross and a Lele to win the game, that can be very difficult. So Kartana is a nice way of just being like, yeah, I'm just going to take out 2 Metagross of Vulpix and then take my last prize. So just a very kind of cool tech that I decided to throw in here for certain matchups. And then also a Magearna for Mystic Heart, prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any metal energy attached to it. So basically just things like removing energy, status effects, that type of thing. Magearna allows us to not have to deal with, and particularly the energy removing effects from like Righteous Edge is very nice with our metal because we are playing DCEs in this deck. And then so I don't automatically lose to Safeguard Pokemon. I'm also running Cobalion and Registeel. Yes, I know that Type Null can technically work for that, but you really don't want to just attack with Type Null for 110, because I mean it's just an underwhelming attacker and just to have to two-shot them. So I did throw two different things in. One is Cobalion. This is a late game, be able to Revenge Blast for 2 metal energy for a ton of damage. Very, very nice. And then Registeel's more early game, be able to Turbo Arm, be a single energy way to accelerate energy to Pokemon on the bench, and then also 2 Lele just for getting our supporters. And then as for the items, 1 Escape Rope just to be able to get stuff out of the active. Yes, Silvally gives us free retreat, but Silvally does not give itself free retreat. So Escape Rope is for early game, and then later if you don't want Silvally active. 2 Field Blowers because we do rely on abilities, we rely on Magearna, Kartana, Silvally, Lele. We rely on abilities a lot, so being able to turn off Garbotoxin is essential in this deck. 1 Rescue Stretcher and 1 Special Charge as the methods of recursion. We don't want to recur regular energy because we like that in the discard pile for Silvally and Registeel, and so these guys just give us little options here and there for what we get back when we get it back. 4 Ultra Ball to guaranteed what we want when we want. 3 Potown to use in conjunction with Drampa and to also rack up damage on things like Golisopod, Garbodor, because I guess they play Potown as well, but like Gardevoir, just those type of decks that run evolutions, be able to rack up some damage so that our 2-hit KOs can potentially turn into 1-hit KOs in the right scenario. 2 Acerola. Now, I'm actually kind of torn about whether or not I like this card. It's mainly for, like, Drampa and Lele, or not Drampa, Kartana and Lele, to be able to reuse their playdown abilities, but I might go down to 1. Either way, I'm testing out with 2, just because, I mean, I actually kind of like having the ability to pick them up and then play them right back down. 1 Brigette for early game, 4-4-3 of Sycamore and Guzma, just because, I mean, that's what I feel comfortable with, and that's what I kind of like to go with. 1 Kukui, just I really, really, really like Kukui. That's kind of a stick special in the current decks, and also this deck really relies on 2-hit KOs, sometimes with, like, Choice Band and Kukui, you're able to turn that 2-hit KO into an OHKO, particularly with damage racking up from Po-Town, so that's just kind of gives you another option of doing a little bit extra damage. 3 Choice Band to boost our damage output, and then 2/2, only 2/2 of the Fighting and Psychic Memories, because I want to be able to have access to them when I want them, but at the same time, like, I really don't particularly need either of them. So I figured that 4 slots was enough to dedicate to this line of memories, because honestly, in the future I probably wouldn't run either of these, just because right now in the format there's nothing that I really want these for. I mean, maybe like Espeon, GX and stuff like that, but nothing that's like top tier that I would want these for. Maybe I would want like water or lightning for Ho-Oh, maybe like grass for Greninja, just that type of stuff, just be able to get better typings from the memories. But for the time being, I'm working with what I have, and 2/2 of Fighting and Psychic. And Fighting, like I said, is okay for things like Drampa, Tauros, and then Psychic is good for like Espeon GX. So I mean, they're not horrible, but they're not the types that I would use if I had my druthers. And then finally, for the energy, 4 DCE absolute max number because our main attackers focus off of that, and then 7 metal so that we can take advantage of Magearna and be able to attack with our other attackers. So yeah, that is a deck, and let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Crad 16 with a, honestly, kind of looks like Glyspod Garbodor, in which case this could be kind of bad. In all honesty, it could be very kind of bad. But luckily we do win the coin flip, so we will get to go first at the very least. And, I mean, I'd kind of like to start off with something, you know, like something that I could actually work with. And this, yeah, this works. I'm very okay with this. Be able to get, oh wait, why am I looking at my own stuff? Oops. But yeah, I'll be able to get a type null up, able to get a energy onto it, and then also Lele for Brigette, which could grab me like Kartana, could grab me Drampa. Basically gives me plenty of options. So what I can do is immediately, do I want to play the Po-Town yet? I think I'm just going to slap the DCE there, then Lele for the Brigette, like I said, to be able to get like Drampa, maybe another type null, just get some other stuff out there, get it onto the bench, that way I can have it for next turn. Let's grab the Registeel, Drampa, and actually, you know what, I don't want Registeel. I think I just want another type null, and then have the last spot open as a flex point for like Magearna or something like that. And I'm going to hold on to the Po-Town just so, I mean, I can, I don't know, play it down so my opponent can't counter my stadium, and also this way I can have like Drampa attacking, or I can have Drampa get powered up as I evolve, and my opponent is just going to attach an energy of Floatstone and Sycamore, so this is not good. This is not looking good for me at this point. Ooh. So my opponent does have a Wimpod out, already has an energy, is able to rescue Stretcher. What's he... Oh, is he just going to put the Garbodor back into his deck? Yeah, I mean, that's fine, I guess. But we don't see any other Pokemon coming down. Does my opponent not have anything else? He doesn't. We just win. Like, what? I'm gonna play the Po-Town. Like, I think we just win, right? Yeah, we do. Okay, so Slash and Claw actually wins me the game, and you know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead and evolve into Silvally just to be able to go for a Turbo Drive to win the game. That way Silvally can do something already, and I mean, this was a very short first game, and no, there's nothing in there. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we just take the win immediately, I guess. So my opponent didn't have anything going at all, and we were able to just knock it out and win the game. So, yeah, we take those, and let's go ahead and try to find another one, maybe. I mean, I guess that's, yeah, good for you, Silvally. Alrighty, we have got another one against L. Mathberg with a Metal Psychic deck. So, I mean, this is like, I mean, it's Metagross, but we don't see the water, which is Alolan Vulpix. So, honestly, not fully sure what my opponent is running, and we start off with the Lele, which is not great. It's actually kind of bad. I'm hoping that I can get a type null or something in the background, and my opponent actually starts with a Scizor. That's kind of interesting, and I am just going to end, that way I don't have to get rid of supporters and Silvally. I mean, I get a type null, which, I mean, at the very least, it could be worse. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and play Magearna down, because Magearna will actually help out with the... What is it? Iron Crusher from Mega Scizor. I haven't played against a Mega Scizor in a long time. But it'll help out with the Iron Crusher not allowing it to discard DCEs from my Pokemon that have Metal Energy on there. So, I mean, I didn't think Magearna would be doing a whole lot in all honesty, but it actually works out very well for this matchup, just being able to keep it from discarding the DCEs that my deck actually relies on. So what I'm going to do is play the Potown and then just Sycamore away my hand, hopefully get a Silvally or something like that. And I do not, but I get another energy and a choice band, so I'm going to be able to hit this Scizor for a little bit of damage anyway. Just go for an energy drive right there, and then hopefully I can get a Silvally next turn, like get an Ultra Ball or something. That way I can have free retreat among all my basics, start powering up my Silvally in the background. And my opponent just Guzma's up my type Null and goes for Stealing, so my opponent clearly has absolutely nothing at all. So I do not want to end him, because that would just give him a fresh hand. Maybe he can do something, but I'm just hoping for... Wow, still did not get a Silvally. Man, that's weird. Like, just couldn't get anything. Didn't even get an Ultra Ball for it or anything like that. So I do just have to pass the turn, and my opponent... I mean, I just had to hope that he doesn't have anything at all, because otherwise I missed a perfect opportunity to go back into Lele, and if I drew a DCE, then I would have been able to win the game. But unfortunately, we can't always get what we want every time, and so this is just one of those where, I mean, if my opponent gets something, then I'm just going to have to play it out. And it looks like, I mean, okay, the fact that he just has to rely on a top deck isn't the end of the world for me, but we've seen my opponent's top deck out of worse spots. And he gets another energy on the, and he just Gale Thrusts. So if I get an energy, I think I win. And I do get an energy. Wait, I actually won regardless, because I can just Acerola up my type Null, go back into Lele, play the type Null down, but I really didn't need to, and just energy drive. But as long as all I had to do was just Acerola up the type Null as soon as he went for Gale Thrust, and Lele was able to win the game. So that was another very quick one. Wasn't planning on Lele doing much of anything, but I mean, lo and behold, it ended up doing something. So yeah, go Lele, I guess. And man, we're just getting a bunch of short ones. Let's hope that we can find another one that is hopefully good with this deck. Alrighty, we have got another one against a Gnub 2016 with what it appears to be a Gardevoir deck, so this should be interesting to say the least. I mean, we have the advantage with our metal. It's just a matter of getting our metal up in time in order to be able to take out the Gardevoir, so that's going to be very crucial. And I start off less than ideally. I mean, I start off with a Cobalion, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, like, I'd really prefer to have something better to start off with, and also the fact that my opponent is going to go first is bad for me as well. Because if my opponent gets a ton of Gardevoir set up before I'm really able to get my Metalmons out there, then this is just kind of going to be somewhat of a body bag, but I mean, hey, we have metal, so we should be able to at least make a game out of it. And my opponent is just going to attach to his Ralts on the bench. That's fine with me. I get a ton of Potowns, which, I mean, is okay, I guess. I mean, like, I could be worse, but what I'm going to do is grab 2 type Nulls and then probably Drampa. Magearna is there, and Magearna is going to be something that I definitely need to make sure that I keep around, because that will allow me to... because that allows me to Oko a Gardevoir. And then I am just going to go ahead and Quick Guard on Cobalion. Like, I know it's probably not going to do much, but just in case he doesn't have a Gardevoir, and he tries to get like 10 damage on me with Ralts, this keeps him from being able to do that. So he does attach the Floatstone to the active. That kind of makes sense, and he's powering up his Ralts on the bench. So, and he is going to end me, which is just fine with me, because I mean, it gives me a fresh hand of 6. And honestly, unless my opponent draws into a Rare Candy Gardevoir, I'm going to be in a fantastic spot, and ew. I really do not like this hand. Wow, this is a gross hand. This is a very gross hand. So he gets the Ultra Ball. He's probably just going to grab like an Octillery or maybe a Curlia or something just to get something else going. And, I mean, on the bright side, my Potown is going to be taking its toll, and he is going to grab the Octillery. So he's going to be able to get a couple more cards this turn, but again, like, we don't see the Gardevoir just yet, and if he does not evolve the Ralts on the bench, I can always just Ultra Ball, or I can just Lele into Guzma, and then Ultra Ball for Silvally so that I can bring up that Ralts and knock it out immediately. So I'm not in a bad position by any means at all. But at the same time, my opponent is having an insane turn one. Like, okay. Okay, so he eventually was able to Rare Candy into Gardevoir. That sucks. Yep, there it is. And, boy. This is going to be interesting. Like, he won't be able to knock me out unless he has a Fairy Energy in his hand, which I think he could have knocked out my Cobalion if he went for the Professor's Letter and then Ultra Ball instead of just Ultra Balling away the Professor's Letter. But what I am allowed to do this turn is Ultra Ball, get rid of N and the Metal Energy to grab a Silvally so that I can get that thing started. I mean, I want to save Cobalion. It's like that thing is going to be 100% necessary to save. Play the energy right there, and then I am just going to Sycamore, get rid of the Lele and the DCE. It's not ideal, but it's what I'm working with. And then I am just going to retreat into one of my type nulls, let it take the hit. If my opponent gets like a DCE or something like that, then he will be able to one-shot my type null. Oh, there's the DCE, so he will be able to OHKO it. But, I mean, I'd rather him take out the type null than my Cobalion, which will be able to one-shot Gardevoirs after I get, after he knocks out a type null and then a Pokemon GX, and then like Drampa or Silvally. So yeah, he's just going to take the knockout right there. That's okay with me. I am going to promote my Silvally and then start spreading my energy around. So let's play the energy there. Is he going to be able to OHKO me? Yeah, he is. So I'm going to need to be careful. And then let's N. See what we can get to work with. And alright, so get a Psychic Memory. I'm just going to go ahead and play that down just because, and then let's get rid of the Float Stone off of this Ralts. That way he can't take advantage of it. And then I actually am going to be able to go for the Rebel GX to knock out this Gardevoir from this range. I mean, completely due to the damage that I got on it from Po-Town. So Po-Town already coming through clutch for me. Then I am able to take out the Gardevoir and get a couple prizes. So we're in a pretty good spot, actually. Silvally just took out his Gardevoir. He has no other Gardevoirs in play. He doesn't even have any Curlias in play. I mean, he has a couple Ralts, and as long as he doesn't get another Rare Candy Gardevoir, I should be okay. Or at least I would hope, anyway. Floatstone does come down onto the Ralts. Maybe he's just sacking it off. Of course he has another Rare Candy Gardevoir. Of course I end him into a Rare Candy Gardevoir. That's, yeah, nothing I can do about that one. That just kind of sucks. And he... Oh my gosh, why can't I get ends like that? I end him into Rare Candy Gardevoir and Octillery. Like, that is nuts. That's just, that's like, oh my gosh. Ah, man, that's... I mean, that's the game. Like, that's how it goes. Like, sometimes you end your opponent into nothing and you're able to be in a great spot, and sometimes you end your opponent into the absolutely perfect hand. So, sad time about that. And unfortunately, I'm not able to play the odd prize game in this one because he did get his Gardevoir so incredibly fast that Kartana really is not going to be doing much at all this game. So, wow, that was a loud... That's a very loud plane and a very slow plane. Sorry, I'm recording and then all of a sudden I just hear this. Maybe that's not a plane because that is taking way too long. But like all of a sudden I just hear. Okay, so for any of you that have seen any of the Star Wars, like imagine the sound effect of like one of the big Imperial ships or First Order ships now, just whooshing by. Like that's kind of what I am listening to right now outside of my room. But he is able to Secret Spring me, or he is able to hit me, and actually he didn't do a whole lot. Like, he wasn't able to knock me out, which is fantastic for me, so I am just going to go ahead and get rid of the Floatstone off of that, play the regular metal onto Cobalion, just I mean, that's the thing that's going to be knocking out a Gardevoir later. And yeah, see, this is the type of end that I was hoping my opponent would get, just something that is completely unplayable. I'm going to play that there just to get it out of there, and then Turbo Drive, I'm able to hit the Gardevoir for some decent damage, and then let's play the Metal onto... Let's play it onto Drampa, just because that thing can take a knockout next turn if I need it to. So he is actually going to evolve into Kirlia, take damage from Po-Town. And is he going to be able to... Yeah, he is going to go for... I mean, I don't know why he's attaching to this Silvally. Or why he's attaching to the active Gardevoir, because it can knock out Silvally without anything else, and it is getting damaged on its own, so... Really don't know why my opponent's doing this, and then he is going to Infinite Force, so, I mean, if I can get, like, a DCE or something, then I can knock out the Gardevoir, but I have to go into my Cobalion, and I don't, like, this Gardevoir only has 80 HP left. Like, that's all it has, and I get the Silvally one turn too late. Oh, man, this is not good. Crap. And then I can't even end, I don't have a good supporter for the turn. Yeah, this is... I think us being stuck right here is going to keep us from winning the game, because what I could have done if I was able to draw into a DCE is I would have been able to go into Drampa and knock out my opponent's Gardevoir, save the Cobalion for next turn if my opponent knocks out the Cobalion, or knocked out the Drampa. And then I would have been able to go into Cobalion and take the Revenge KO, the Revenge Blast KO on my opponent's Gardevoir. So, yeah, the fact that I got stuck off my own end, I think, is going to beat me. Unless, if I can get DCE Choice Band, then I will win the game off of this. Because he is going to knock out the Cobalion. That's a 100% certainty. And I do have two DCEs still left in the deck. So, I mean, if I can top deck like my opponent, then I will definitely win this. But, man, I just haven't been able to get any of my metal in play. Like, this has just kind of been such a clunky game for me that this is frustrating. But he will be able to Infinite Force knock out my Cobalion and take a prize. And then I am just going to promote Drampa because, I mean, it has the free retreat thanks to Silvally. So, I mean, that's what I play when I actually get a Kartana. Well, if I was playing the odd prize game, I would probably win because then I'd be able to just attach an energy and attach an energy and take my last prize. But unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. So let's Ultra Ball, thin out the deck a little bit, grab Drampa because I am just going to Ultra Ball again. Yes, okay. So I have 3 Choice Band and 2 DCE in my deck. If I can get one of each of those, I will win the game. So I have to go off this play. If I can get this, then I will be able to win. So fingers crossed that we can draw like our opponent. Like, I mean, he was able to draw into Octillery, Rare Candy, and Gardevoir. So I mean, if he can get that, we can get DCE and Choice Band, and we get the DCE and no Choice Band. That's bad. So, and I wasn't even able to end my opponent down to 2. I mean, yeah, he has Octillery, but at least that would have gotten rid of his, like, 8-card hand. So what I'm going to do is attach the energy to Kartana. And then I'm just going to go for the Righteous Edge, pray that my opponent doesn't have the DCE and the regular Fairy Energy. Because if he doesn't, then this Gardevoir is now in range of Berserk. And there's the DCE and Secret Spring, so yeah, we lose this one. Man, that's frustrating. Because we had such a good game, and we actually had a solid matchup. But then, I mean, that's a TCG for you. Draws can just kill you. Like, you can do everything right, but draws can just kill you if your opponent gets lucky off an N and you draw crap off an N. I mean, that's honestly why I hate N. Just because it sets up these situations where just getting, I mean, it literally just comes down to luck as to what you draw, and it can determine a game. So that's why I don't like N. But either way, this was a pretty solid match to show off the deck. And either way, wow, I said that like 6 times. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.